So, hey, welcome. I know there's only a couple of us here right now, but I know more will hop on. Um, this is LisaF, and she went last year from diamond to 5-star, and it was arguably the craziest year of her life. And it's super amazing that she was able to pull this out and build her team to this and keep it going with all the stuff that she's been dealing with. So welcome, Lisa. I'm so excited to have you on this hot seat call. It's awesome. Can't wait to hear what you have to share with us. So why don't you go ahead and start us out by telling us a little bit of your story, just kind of whatever you want to tell us to get to know you a little bit.
Yeah. So we'll start kind of, I've been coaching about 4 years. And when I first got started with coaching, I was a dean of a college. And so I was working a very stressful job, 50, 60 hours a week. I was commuting 10 hours a week. I had a 6-month-old and a 2.5-year-old. And it just wasn't, my lifestyle just wasn't what I wanted it to be. Just stressed to the max. My husband and I were fighting. It was just not a good time in my life when it should have been because, I had these 2 precious babies and I just found myself in a place where I was wanting something else, but I didn't know what that was. And so I was at a point where I also needed to lose some baby weight. And so I saw some friends who were doing some challenge groups and I decided to see what it was about. And I got started with Beachbody in the spring of 2015, first as a way to just lose the last 10 pounds of baby weight. And I immediately fell in love with 21 Day Fix, my first program. I love Shakeology. It worked for me. I could do it from home with my babies. And so I immediately fell in love with the program. And within a month, my coach said, you need to be coaching because you are showing up every day. You're posting on social media, like you're already doing what we do, right? And so in that first month, I decided, okay, why not? I signed up for the discount anyway. I might as well just coach. And so for the first kind of 2 years of my business, I stayed with my job as a dean of a college and just very slowly started building a business. I think I was able to hit diamond in about 90 days. And from there, really just focus on doing what I could do. And the first couple of years of my business, it wasn't really a team effort. I don't feel like I really led a team the first couple of years. I was really just looking at what I could control and, hitting Success Club myself. And I was able to help my husband and his account, and we were able to advance him to diamond. And then at the end of my second year, I was also able to advance my mom to diamond. And with that being said, we all just kind of had this like family team, right? Where I'm not really growing new leaders. And I was making a pretty good income from, just being a high retailer at that point. And so I decided after having some conversations with my husband, he said, okay, here is what you need to earn. If you don't pay for daycare and if you can earn this in your income with Beachbody, then you could step away from your career because we're a 2-income family. We've always wanted to be a 2-income family. We don't want to change the way that we live per se and go down to 1 income. And so I was able to do that at the 2-year mark of my business. And so in January of 2017, I decided to just go full out and be a full-time coach. And my husband and I decided to also put our house up for sale and moved to Florida because our kids were becoming school age. And so we were looking for really good cities where we could raise our kids. And we decided Florida would be great because there's no state income taxes. And so I've just started working my business more. We moved our family from South Carolina to Florida. And I have 2 boys. I don't know if I mentioned that. And we just kind of lived our best life. At that point, I was still a 2-star diamond coach. And I wasn't really growing per se. I had some girls who were growing, who were, hitting emerald, who were barely scratching the surface of Success Club, maybe like 2 or 3 people on my leaderboard. So I was growing this really small team in 2017. And finally, leading up to 2018, I would say was probably the most pivotal year in my business. So in 2018, we launched 80-Day Obsession. And I loved Autumn. Obviously, I've done all of our other programs, got good results. And so I just really went all in with the launch. And I think I had my highest success club month ever. I think it was like 64. And I just told everyone I knew about it. I really wanted everyone to be in my test group. And so that's when I really started thinking, okay, I'm going to get some women some really great results. And that's how I'm going to grow my team. And so, we started 80-Day Obsession in January, and we were working through it. And here's the crazy part of my story. So in the end of January, I was going to the Bahamas on a success trip that I had earned from my upline coach. She always brings her top 20 coaches every year on a trip. And I was on my way to the success trip. I was in the Orlando airport, and I was stopped by a air marshal, and I was pulled into this really dark, dreary room. I had no idea what was going on. All I knew is that, they wanted me to come with them, and they had some questions for me. And all I could think was that, number one, I'm going to miss my flight. Number two, I was speeding in the parking garage. So they're giving me a ticket, but maybe I was going like way over the speed limit, and, they want to give me like $1,000 ticket, whatever, I'll pay it. I just want to go to the Bahamas. And never in a million years would I have really thought what was happening. So turns out I'm getting arrested, and I'm getting arrested because my former company, the college that I worked for, has put out a warrant for my arrest. They had filed what started as a complaint into an actual lawsuit in the state that I had lived in, which was South Carolina. And since I was in Florida now, they were arresting me as a fugitive because they thought I was fleeing the country to not appear in court. Little did I know, I've never been served court papers. It was all very strategic how this whole thing went down. They knew I was moving. They waited to file. I never got served. I moved from my home. That was the last known residence they had on file. So, I left my job on my own accord back in 2017, but part of the reason why I did leave is because I had a huge target on my back, because people knew I was running my own business and I was successful at it. There were several people that went to human resources to complain. I had to show my human resources team how to schedule a post on your Facebook like page, because they were saying that I was actually working while on the clock. And I wasn't. I took my job very seriously, and I always had, I was always moving up that corporate ladder. I had nothing but promotions and raises in my resume in my tenure there. And so, I decided to leave on my own accord when it just kept happening. And I knew someone was after me, and I didn't know who it was, but I didn't really care. I really just wanted to, go on about, my business and build my business. And so that's what I decided to do in 2017. So come to find out, I'm getting arrested in the Orlando airport. I have to go to Orlando, Orange County jail, which is a maximum security prison. I've never even, you guys, I've had like one speeding ticket in my entire life. Like, I've never been in trouble. I have no idea what's going on. First of all, I think I'm on punked. Like, what is this? What's going on here? And I get there, and then the first thing I think is, okay, I've just got to get a hold of my husband. He can come down, he can bail me out, and so I can at least go home. Yeah, I missed my Bahamas trip that I earned. So long story short, I spend 11 days in jail because you cannot post bond if the charge is in another state. You have to be extradited to that state to go in front of a judge. And you are at the mercy of the state that you have been arrested in as to when they do extradition. And so lucky me, got arrested on a Wednesday night, and extradition was Thursday morning. So obviously my paperwork was not done. So I had to wait till the following Thursday to get extradited to South Carolina. And then I had to stay the night in South Carolina, and before I finally got to see a judge on day 11. So I spent 11 days in jail. And if you've seen Orange is the New Black, that was my life. Like, the food is awful. The commanding officers are awful. You're in an open bay shower with other women. You're in an open bay toilet with other women. There's no razors. You're using bar soap for shampoo. Like it is an awful experience. My mattress was about an inch thick. And so, it's just a really crazy experience that I went through. And so I finally get out. It's like February 5th at this point. 11 days later, my husband comes down to Charleston. Turns out when I get in front of the jail, or excuse me, when I get in front of the judge, he says, no bond, you're free to go. So I didn't have to pay any fines and I was free to go, and then had to endure, the process of going to trial. So when I get home, get back to work, that was February 5th. And I was always determined, no matter what, that like, they weren't going to get me. They weren't going to show me. Like, I was still going to do my business and still grow my business and do what I had set out to do. And I think I ended up hitting Success Club 20 that month, just because I was like, it's not going to affect me. And yes, of course it did. There were days that I cried. There were days that I screamed. There were days that I didn't understand what was going on. And the charge was a misappropriation of funds. They did claim that I used my position of authority to misappropriate funds and pay for things that weren't approved from the college. Well, to file a charge, you don't have to have proof. You only have to have proof when you actually go to trial. And when my trial date came, guess who didn't show up for court? So I spent 11 days of my life, basically for a false charge. I have nothing on my record now. It was all expunged. Of course, I paid thousands of dollars to an attorney and had to endure 11 days in jail, away from my family, away from my kids. And it was an awful experience. But I think that what happened in there is that I came back stronger. I knew deep down that like, okay, I can handle that. I am capable of handling anything that's thrown at me or anything that comes at me. And I took that as an opportunity. When I left, I went in as like a 2-star diamond. I had fallen, around diamond rank. And then when I came home, I was an emerald coach. And so I knew that I had to get back into 80-day obsession. I had to get some amazing results. I had to help my clients get results, even though I missed like 10 days of the program. And honestly, that's where my team started to grow, is that we all kind of rallied together. They didn't know what was going on. Like, I went radio silent. I called my success partner from jail and I said, get into my challenge group. And so she did, and she ran it for me. And, I just kind of rallied with the girls that were in there. And then by the end of April, I had 3 girls who had amazing results, who came to me and said, I'm ready to work. What do I need to do? And so over the course of the last 6 months of the year, from basically April to November, we really worked to develop them, to get them to emerald, to get them to diamond, to get them hitting Success Clubs consecutively. And we were able to grow from basically an emerald team to a 5-star elite team by the end of November, to hit qualification in order to be elite and 5-star diamond. And we advanced 6 diamonds as well within that time frame. So, I think it was just a matter of, we put our heads down, we got to work. Like, whatever happened, it happened. And I let myself mourn, and I let myself decompress if I needed it. But I knew at the end of the day, like, no, I'm going to come out on top, because you made me suffer through this and it was all false. And I'm going to show you. And so within that year, I was able to, turn my business around, get some really strong leadership on my team. Of course, I looked at what I could control as well. I had a second business center. I had my U+2 accounts, and I worked those as well. And then was able to advance 4 other girls who were diamonds, or 4 other girls on my team to diamond by the end of the year. So what started as a super crazy year turned into an amazing year. And I think it really just came down to like, okay, let's get some really good results. Let's take some serious action. And we all rallied together and we all made it happen. And so that was the craziest year of my life. And now it's just keep pressing on. I think it's just one of those things where it's, nothing's going to hold me back, and we're ready to go, and just keep pushing forward on to 6, 7, 8, 10 star, because why not? Right?
Absolutely. Holy cow. That's so incredible. So Lisa's here for you guys to ask questions of, and I will kick it off just so you guys can kind of, unless somebody has something right away. you can absolutely take. Okay, Rob has one. Go ahead.
Hey, so I know I came in halfway through the story, but
Yeah.
I'm sure that you know this, but that is so tenacious and it's cool to have something like that. I can't imagine what going through it was like, but I always try to look for how things can translate to everything else. And you will always have that in your pocket, as if you could get through that, you'll be able to get through what you're going through. So I think that's amazing. And I appreciate you sharing that.
Thank you.
The first thing that I thought about was I see all the stuff that you've been doing um, to get through that and to achieve this awesome goal. And Mary knows this about me. My question always is, and you touched on the end, it's like 6, 7, 8, 10, just because, what else? But my question is there something specific that's what you would call next for you? And what is your plan? Like, what's your approach to get there?
So thanks, Rob. That's a good question. So I'm reading this book right now, The One Thing. And I don't know if anybody's read it or not, but they really just talk about, that one overarching goal and what is it and how are you going to get there and what is the one big goal and then how do you achieve it and backtrack 5 years and 1 year and, what are the daily activities that you have to do. And so I've really been forced to think because I'm a person who's very much driven by rank and recognition. And yes, the income is great, but I've always been this way. I chased titles my whole corporate career, and I was a dean of a college at age 27. And so I've really been focusing on this one thing. And, I want to develop a team of leaders. And so right now we were in 6-star qualification. And so I think that for me, the next big thing is I want to create a 15-star diamond team. I want to develop leaders. And I think I have my background, my bachelor's degree is in secondary education. And so I think that my gift is teaching. And that's kind of my one thing, is that I feel like I can teach others to do what I do. Yes, I need some development with recruiting, for the business and not focusing on the fitness aspect so much. And I'm working on developing that. But for me, the one thing is really just growing a strong organization. And for me, I'm identifying that as a 15-star diamond team. I've put a date on it of, my 5-year coach anniversary, which would be next April. And that's just what I've decided I'm going to do. I'm just going to work like crazy to get there.
Cool. Go get it.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you. Okay. Does anybody else have questions?
I have a question. Hi.
Hi.
I also got in the middle of it, but I wanted to ask, is there any systems that you implemented with your business builders to actually help them become diamonds and really be sustainable, have a really good foundation? Because right now I have 3 business builders. I'm a 1-star right now. And this is going to be a crazy year because I have a 1-year-old and twins are going to arrive anytime within this month. So it's going to be a handful, but I know I can do it. And I guess I have some coaches that are inches away, only missing the emeralds, but I don't want to be on top of them because I'm not a manager. They know what they have to do, but that being said, there's always an extra push that you need, from your coach. Is there anything that you did for them that worked?
Yeah, I think a couple of things. Number one, once I identified who the leaders were, who the runners were, I definitely put together a success pod with those people specifically. And we worked really hard. Also sharing my vision with our team. My team page was always something that I just used to share the Diamond Insider, or to share what the promotions were for the month. And I never really dove into my team page and used it to its full capacity. And so I think, really just taking the time and going in and explaining, because what I was finding is that these girls were signing up, they wanted to be a coach, they got to Emerald quickly, maybe, but then sustaining that, they were like, how do I move forward? And how do I make Success Club a priority? So I think just sharing the vision of, okay, guys, we can be an elite team. We are close. You guys just basically have to hit Success Club and go Emerald every single month for the next 3 to 4 months. And me sharing what I was doing, because I think sometimes they see you as the leader and they don't think that you're actually doing the work. And so I would do a contest, a daily contest. We would drop our activity tracker in, and I would throw out a $5 gift card to Starbucks. We would drop in the list of, we would screenshot either our Google Streak or the list that we were making of people, you know, whoever invites 30 people first gets this t-shirt that I got from Beachbody last month, you know. And I think for my team, they're all really competitive because I have a lot of people that are just into that fitness aspect. And so I had to figure out what was going to motivate them. And I spent some time really understanding what motivated each of them, and then throwing out some random contests and really using that team page and really sharing that vision, and also sharing elite reports every month. Like, I think they see you as, okay, yeah, you're going to be elite, but why does that matter for me? And when I really broke it down to saying, okay, guys, this is how we get elite points. It's based on when you hit Success Club. So how can I help you get to Success Club? And, you know, just breaking down income, showing how, like, they didn't even understand volume. And I think for the longest time, because I'm just like a very self-motivated person, I learned everything myself. If I didn't understand it, I went to YouTube. I watched Lindsay Matway. I did what I needed to do. And I don't think my team necessarily would do that. So I just had to take that extra step and put in the extra time to like dive into, how do you earn income? What kind of messages are you sending? Sharing those, and really just diving into that and showing them all of the actions I'm taking every single day.
That makes sense. Thank you.
Yeah.
Love that. And then we had a question from Mary that's on the call. She wants to know, where are you currently recruiting most? Where are you finding your engaged coaches? Is it Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, or somewhere else?
So I still am getting a lot of traction on Facebook personal page. I do a Facebook personal page. I have a Facebook business page, and I do Instagram. And my Instagram is set up as a business and it's connected to my Facebook business page. And honestly, for me, I'm still getting the most traction on my regular Facebook page. And so every day when I sit down to work, you know, I'm taking the time to really message the people who are engaging with all of my posts on whatever platform I'm using. But I don't know if it's just generational. I'm going to be 40 in like 2 months, but I just haven't like figured out Instagram yet. Even though I still show up every day, I'm still just not like totally engaged. I got to take a quick drink. Okay. So, you know, my team, we created a tracker that's basically the exact same activity tracker that's in our coach office. We just put our team name on the top of it. And so I do spend time every day, you know, sending invites on both platforms, Instagram and Facebook. But for me, the biggest return is still on Facebook for me. And like, I hit Success Club 22 in April, and I would say one person came from Instagram. Yeah, one.
That's crazy. That's a little different than a lot of coaches are seeing these days, but that's good to know that you shouldn't give up on Facebook, that there's still viable people there. So what other questions do we have for Lisa? Oh, what type of messaging are finding works best? What type of messaging are you finding works best?
Honestly, I spent a lot of time early on in coaching looking for those like perfect scripts. And I think I'm to the point now, just because I've had a lot of like self-growth in the last year, that now to me, it's not a script. It's really like, I'm just really into voice messaging, and I just say what's on my mind, and I will just voice message people. I'm working to build an email list. I'm working to build a funnel system, you know, but I'm just not quite there yet. And, you know, I was able to still get to elite and 5-star diamond, basically just grinding, you know. My upline coach is always talking about, you've got to have your email system, you've got to have this funnel system. And that's just not what's working for me right now. And so I'm doing what is working for me. And that is still getting in people's inbox. And I send a voice message and just, you know, let them know, hey, I know, you know, thank you so much for the love on my post yesterday. It really means a lot to me. I throw up a lot of like truth bomb type pictures. Like I throw up me being bloated. I was just in the Bahamas and ate and drank my weight, you know? And so guess what? I'm on the 3-day refresh and I'm sharing like every single emotion, every single thought. Like I'm very, very transparent and vulnerable in all of my posts. So it gives me really good talking points when I am reaching out to people and messaging them. And I'm not inviting them per se right away, but for me, it's just more of a connection. Like, thank you, because let me tell you how embarrassed I was to throw up that picture of me and my belly that's looks like a 5-pound bowling ball is in there or whatever. So I just find I don't use scripts. I really just try to connect to people. And I find that when they're hearing my voice, that's when I'm getting more of a response rather than just a canned message that I'm copying and pasting. And yes, it takes more time, but I close people faster, you know? So I think, I know a lot of people say that relationship building is out, but for me, it's not. Like for me, I would say that I build trust quickly because I still take the time to voice memo. I still take the time to ask them about their goals and, you know, what they've tried in the past and what they're struggling with. And I get to know my people. And so by the time I present them with a share cart, they buy it.
I love that. Mary also says that she's finding that too and have been doing very personal messages on LinkedIn.
Oh,
So,
nice.
yeah, digging into LinkedIn. Okay, what other questions, guys?
So first of all, 40, not buying it. But you seem very results focused for your own personal health and fitness. What does your challenge group look like?
So within my team, we have, this might seem a little bit crazy, but we have 3 challenge groups that we run. So we have a challenge group for those people who currently just have BOD. You know, they don't want to do Shakeology, but they have their BOD. They're not active on Shakeology. I have a place for them. I have whatever the latest program is, and I run it as a test group, and I require challenge pack purchase with Shakeology for the duration of the program. And then I also do a free monthly group that is a rotating 30-day calendar. And so for me, when I'm talking to someone, if they come to me and say, just not ready, don't have the money, not the right time, whatever the objection is, I say, okay, great, understand, no worries. But guess what? Here's this free 30-day challenge that I run. It's literally something I pull from Pinterest. I pin the 30-day challenge to the top of the page. And then every single morning I go live and I do the workout of the day. It takes 2 minutes of my day. And every month, at the end of the month, at the beginning of the month, I advertise on my social media. I'll put it in my stories. I'll swipe up the link. And I ask people to, I'm going to do a contest for 7 days of Shakeology. And if you tag 2 friends and add them to this group, then, you'll go into the drawing. So I do spend some time on a free group, but it's just a rotating group. It takes no extra time to really plan, like a 7-day group, I feel like takes the life out of you. So I just keep it running and I go live every morning for 2 minutes a day, do my 10 squats or whatever it is, but I always have a place for people to go because I don't want them to feel like, okay, well, you're not buying my challenge pack. Well, goodbye. Maybe message me when you're ready. So current program, like I had a Transform 20 group. I'm now doing Ultimate Portion Fix with 21-Day Fix. And then I have my free group that's always running too.
And is your BOD group something that just exists forever? Does that stay as one group? Okay, cool.
Yeah, we kind of changed the theme or the title quarterly.
Cool.
But yeah, it's just a basic accountability group. There's not a ton of like expectation or anything in there. But people still show up every single day. Like I drop my meal plan in there every week. I share food, I do all the same things. But I'm not as engaged with those people as I would say. I'm doing more of like weekly check-ins with those people who are in Ultimate Portion Fix, who are doing the same program that I'm doing.
That's great because you're bringing value to all 3 groups regardless, and it's just different levels of value based off different levels of commitment. So cool. Thanks.
Yeah, of course.
So a question about your free group. What is the return on that? Like how many people do you usually get out of it? I know it's a minimal time investment, but I just want to see like what's the payoff?
I would say 2 or 3 people a month will convert because I do spend some time at the beginning and the end of each month, like when I have like today, I just started my butt and gut challenge. And so I'm, spent my time inviting this morning, but I also messaged everyone in there and just say, hey girl, not sure if you saw the new pin post. We're gearing up for the button gut challenge. Are you joining me this month? ? And then let them respond. And then if they respond, and I'll say, okay, what are your goals for the next 30 days? What are your challenges? What are going to be your challenges? So I'm trying to re-engage even the people who have been in there, and not necessarily purchased anything in the past, but I want them to know that every month I'm thinking about them. And sometimes at the end of the month or mid-month, I'll message everybody and just say, hey, have any ideas? I'm really struggling for next month's 30-day challenge. I know that you've been super active in there and just wanted to see if you had a suggestion, and then take it to the next level and say, oh, thanks for the suggestion. Are you currently struggling with anything? Or, how's your nutrition going? Just really trying to form a relationship and take it to the next level so that eventually, and maybe they won't ever buy, but again, it's minimal time investment. And I just want them to know I'm thinking about them at least once or twice a month. And, usually, like I said, 2 or 3 people will convert.
I love that. Kim Fitzpatrick kind of does the same thing, because she is all about good customer service, and that's exactly what she calls it. And she says she always wants to give some sort of value, so that even if they're not joining her, they walk away with like, oh, that was a pleasant experience, and I don't mind if she comes back around.
And I find that I get more referrals out of that group than just my regular challenge groups, or when someone is purchasing a new program, I'll ask for a referral. I'll say, hey, do you have anybody that would maybe want to do this with you? But in the free group, when I'm saying, hey, tag your friends, this is a free group, maybe you'll win a free week of Shakeology or whatever it is, I get a ton more referrals and new friends and new people joining that group.
Awesome. And then Rob says he's going to use the exact same verbiage with the button gut. He's like, just kidding, I'll get slapped. Funny.
But I mean, it's seriously just something from Pinterest that takes 2 seconds to like save the image and upload it and pin the post. And then I have a welcome sign that says like, welcome May or hello May. So they know where to go every day and what to do every day. And then they can see my live video. And then a lot of them know what time I go live at 7 a.m. every day. They know it. They jump on with me. And I love that.
It sounds like challenge group training to me. And that's awesome.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Mary had another follow-up question. She said she was more curious as to what your bridged invite to coaching business questions look like. So I guess like from the challenger into the coaching business.
Yeah. And so I guess it's easier when they are actually showing up. I do a couple different things. So depending on if they're actually showing up in the challenge group, if they're posting, obviously that's what I'm going to reach out and say, you're showing up every day, you're posting your pictures, you're getting amazing results. Have you ever considered actually coaching? Because you're pretty much already doing what I do, and I think we've all kind of heard that before. But I'm someone that typically signs everyone up for the discount. That's just what I was taught. I build for rank. And so for me, I usually have people sign up as a discount coach from the beginning. Now I know sometimes that can bite you, especially if you're trying to develop success starters and people aren't ready to get started right away. But for me, it definitely helps me stabilize multiple diamonds. Right. And so, within my organization, within my U+2 and my second business center. But I will also, if someone is adamant about signing up as a customer, I make sure that they understand that, they can get the discount. And for me, I tell them that it's easier to cancel as a discount coach because they basically fill out a form and it's done. Otherwise, they're going to have to sit on the 1-800 number for a few minutes and wait for someone to help them. And I don't know who told me this, but it's been working. I'm just like, you know what? If you sign up for the discount now, you're going to get 25% off savings. Oh, and something else that I do is I add the 3-day refresh on pretty much to every single person's package when they sign up as a coach, because they get it for $33.71, and it's an amazing deal. And I have a ton of transformation pictures from it. And it's just a program that I personally love and get really good results with. So I talk about it a lot. I do it at least quarterly. And so that boosts volume as well. And I just shared with people that, hey, if you sign up for the discount, you're going to get like almost 50% savings on this refresh too. So why don't we jumpstart your health and fitness journey with this kind of like, clean break, get over the sugar addiction, blah, blah, blah. So that's something that I do to boost volume and to get people a really good deal and to get them signed up as a coach from the very beginning.
Love it. Okay, guys, what other questions? Okay, I'll ask mine. With 80 Day, because you said you had a lot of success with 80 Day Obsession, how do you feel about getting on board with every single launch? Do you do that? Do you use every single launch, or are you just like, okay, I'm going to lead with this all the time?
I use every single launch to my advantage, and I teach my team to do the same. I think like pumpkin spice. When we did pumpkin spice, I created an event. I invited everyone I knew to it. I told my team to do the same. Like our volume spiked like crazy. I think I sold like 78 boxes of pumpkin spice because I use every single launch that Beachbody gives us as either number one, a volume driver, or number two, like they're giving you new tools. And to me, like I'm going to do every program. It may not be my favorite, but I'm going to do it because I will be able to help someone else. So I am like the strict portion control girl. I've been doing it for 4 years, but I still jumped on board with 2B Mindset. I did it for a solid month. I gave it a full 30 days. And I had a really successful May because I had a lot of people who just couldn't follow the portion containers. And that's why they never joined me. And so I think that having these quarterly launches and just getting on board with them. Like when we did Fruit Punch, I set it up as a flash sale. And so basically we hyped it up that it was only going to be available that day, which it was. And we did some fun prizes. We did some giveaways. We did some drawings. And I think if you just make it fun, especially if it's just a product and not so much a program, but I go all in with every single launch, whether it's like a big January program or a summer program, or any product, just making it fun, making it an event, making it feel exclusive, and setting it up as a test group or whatever needs to be done to really create hype. And can I grab something to show you guys?
Absolutely, of course. Oh, it's like visual lesson. I'm excited.
Okay. Like I am totally a pen and paper geek. So, I used to teach, right? But like this was my 80-day obsession list from last January. So I had 50 people buy challenge packs. And that was in 2018. And so then these become like my lifers. So these are the people I reach out to first, like when Lift 4 launched. So here's my Lift 4 list. And I sold 95 challenge packs just for Lift 4. And so I use this in my social media. I take pictures and people, try to create some FOMO whenever we had a launch. And then I wanted to transform 100 lives when we did Transform 20. And so I only got to 86. Is that right? Yeah, I only got to 86, but still, like I use visuals in my social media too. And then those are the people that I know to immediately reach out to. Like all of the 80-day people I went to for Lift 4, and I would say 90% of them did it. And same thing with Lift 4. I went back to all of those people for Transform 20. And those are just like my lifers, and they're all signed up as discount coaches pretty much already. And so, I get them re-engaged. I ask for referrals, and I use this in my social media to attract new people as well.
Love that. Awesome. Thank you.
Can I share just a thought, just because I think this is so brilliant, and I don't know if you do this or not.
Sure.
You may, and I think it doesn't matter either way. But I feel like it's one of those things where I see now on social media, a lot of people are using the list of 10. Right. So they put in their stories and they put people's names in. And I think that is powerful. So like people used to be so tired when they got tons of mail. And now if you get something in the mail from someone who you actually know and care about, it's super special. And so I'm just sitting here thinking like that visual is such a cool thing that I think if coaches were encouraged, I always try to like learn to learn and then also learn to teach. If you, instead of having your coaches doing that one little graphic, like they should have a board and they should be writing down physical names, because the thought and the effort that goes into it, I think just makes it that much more connected to it. So that was just something that I know that I am going to do. So I wanted to put that out there because I feel sometimes we can have different takeaways that we miss.
Yeah. And my coaches do. And so I've had a few of my girls who said that they were going to just make a list and say they're committing to transforming 100 lives this year. so that they're at least committing to helping 10 people a month, and they just keep that rolling and they share it every so often in their social media, like when they get to 10 or 20 or 25 or whatever that may be. And I just love seeing that, because I think that, it empowers them too, to know like how many lives they're actually transforming. When I look at this list of 86 people who trusted me to do Transform 20, that makes me feel good as a coach too. It's not just about Success Club numbers, although those are nice, but those are actual people who trusted me to do this program.
Absolutely. That's incredible. And I love the thought behind, let's make it personal. Let's take the time to like put energy into it, right? Because they are real people. So we have run out of time, and I'm going to